Hey, I wanted to come here and just talk about a video that I just watched from Auset. Very profound. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I'm very, very glad that I am connected with her and connected to um, the things that she puts out, because each video is so thought provoking, and it just really, really resonates. Like today's video was just very relative to what I have been dealing with today. I.e., and it's so funny. Even the things that I said, like she said in her video. I was just talking to Daniel about the situation with Raquel and the fact that, well, let me start off here. Today I went to go get my car done, get some repairs done on my car, and Roberto, he did the repairs for me. So throughout the whole process of working on the car, we had certain conversations, and one topic came up about me upgrading my equipment and how I basically got there. And I ended up talking about my situation with Raquel and the fact that I'm in a position to where someone owes me money for work that I have already completed. And today it really it became heavy for me, and it made me realize that, especially when I had started to speak to Daniel about it, even in my messages to him, I said that, I know that I said this before, that I was going to be done with this, but apparently I am not. This has come to the surface again, and it is bothering me, and I'm seeing that even in my message, I'm not necessarily dealing with it. I'm saying it to appear a certain way, but at the core, I'm not really dealing with this to where I can let this go. Because at the end of the day, I know this for a fact, that this is a distraction. This happened in the past. It's not going on right now, and I'm bringing this into my now. And that is just detrimental to the things that I do have going on. I said to him that I know that this is a distraction, and I need to focus on the blessings, the many blessings that I have going on now, and with me not necessarily totally clearing the space, I am allowing this to be a distraction to the many blessings that I do have going on right now, presently. The whole video was basically about doubt, and how doubt basically robs you of, her definition of doubt was, like being in a contradiction of what it is that and not believing what it is that And, she spoke about intuition, which is something that I've definitely have, I have experienced myself, just having a deep feeling about something, but allowing external sources to throw me off. And it's so funny, when I set my intentions for the new moon 2 days ago, I wrote in my notebook that this is a time to not seek external, or not to be influenced or affected by external stimuli. You tell a person about a situation, or you tell a person about your vision, and they can come in with certain doubts, and I know that I can be quite impressionable, and I will end up taking on what the doubts of other people, despite a knowing inside of myself, i.e. this credit, this kind of gives confirmation, and she said that was another thing about doubt, constantly needing confirmation. If you know something, you shouldn't have to require, confirmation should not be like this ultimate requirement to continue on, to keep pushing towards or walking towards this vision that you have for yourself, So, and speaking about, me becoming a credit agent and, exploring this avenue of, bettering my life. When I started this, this is something that I started on the night of the new moon, and it was also Earth Day, so it's just like planting seeds into the ground. And I planted those seeds with a strong intention, a strong knowing. And then it's just like planting these seeds and then doubting the fact that there will be a harvest, when I know that me planting these seeds will render a harvest, at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen the day that I plant the seeds. Like, that would be crazy to fathom. But at the same time, it's like, I know that I planted these seeds with an intention. And just because someone else may think that I planted them in the wrong soil, or I planted them on the wrong day, or I planted them in the wrong season, that is outside of me. And that's not something that I have to allow myself to be influenced by. And it's not to blame others. It's about you. It's all about you and what it is that you are doing, and being able to follow through with that, without the distraction of outside influences, So intuition is not something that can logically be explained, So when you are telling your visions to other people, you are sharing your visions. And you know what? This actually makes me think of The Alchemist. I remember there was a quote, like saying that seldom, like, when you tell somebody your vision, people will seldom believe you, or, something along those lines, and it's just like, at the same time, like, that is very true. And you have to allow yourself to just be so grounded in the knowing of whatever your intentions are when you are planting your seeds, or when you are making a change in your life, or you're becoming someone different, you are transforming, you being in a state of transformation, and what I wanted to say, because what this provoked in my thoughts is, when I was listening to her, she was basically talking about getting to the root of things, and in astrology, I think it's very interesting in the fact that the cardinal signs make up like a plus, like north, east, west, and south. Aries is basically like the I am, the root. And it made me think of Cancer, because Cancer is at the bottom, and we aspire to the opposite of Cancer, which is Capricorn, which is at the top. And it also makes me think about, Cancer represents home. It represents our emotions, the things that we have to feel, and Capricorn, or the 10th house, represents, the top, what we are working towards, so it can be like the top being like the crown chakra, the I know, or the third eye, like the I know. And it's like, if you don't have things that are, if you haven't worked through the things that are in your heart, well, not even say at the heart, but at the bottom, which is the root, which can be considered the root at Cancer, being at the bottom of this four, like this plus sign, being at the bottom of the plus sign, you will have issues about the things that you want to achieve, the things that you are working towards, whether, i.e. being a vision, It made me think of that. And, the home is not necessarily an edifice or, a structure of four walls. Your home is where you take your home wherever you are. You can be in a totally different continent and you still can go home within yourself, So it made me think about really getting to the root of things, A lot of times when we and this is very common, when we first get introduced to spirituality, or, let's just say we first get introduced to chakras, a lot of times we just want to jump to the third eye and we want to jump to the higher part of the chakra system. And you have to get to the bottom of certain things, because if you don't, you end up bringing that thing to whatever it is that you are trying to the visualizations that you have for yourself, the things that you want to achieve, the things that you want to be, known for, externally, When we put things out there, we have to be grounded in ourselves. We have to be rooted in ourselves to where we believe what it is that we're putting out, and she gave an example of, being an artist and you have to make this painting because you are expected to show in some type of, art showcase. You have to know that you are creative and you are a genius in what it is that you do, or else this art showcase would not be expecting you to do something so that it can be showcased in their gallery, but sometimes we will start to paint and we would get critical of ourselves, to where that slows down the process, or it even just stifles the process to where we don't even get anything done, or we get into this whole doubt thing, thinking that it's not good enough, thinking that what it is that we're doing could be better. And it's just you have to be grounded and rooted in the fact that what you're doing. You would have not been asked to showcase in an art gallery if you weren't, able to deliver, So it made me think of that, especially when she gave that example. And, but back to this whole Cancer and Capricorn, I just really felt and another thing about that was Cancer represents our mother, and Capricorn represents our father, So it really does come back to the home aspect and just really getting certain things in order, which is very much Capricorn and Cancer. Capricorn represents, security, material security, and Cancer represents emotional security. So, and she also talked about, when we go to the depths of things, it brought up another thing too. I'm going to talk about it. But when we go to the depths of things, we have to feel our way through, which is the mantra of Cancer. We have to feel our way through. Things are not illuminated for us to see. So we have to go within that darkness and be able to feel our way through the darkness. And that can be very, very scary. I would test myself, when I'm walking, I do a lot of walking, and sometimes I'll test myself, I'll just close my eyes and, I will just walk, let's just say it's 30 steps, and I will close my eyes and just walk, testing myself to see if I will remain with my eyes closed, feeling things out, because when your eyes are closed, you can't see what's in front of you. And I would be safe about it, putting myself in a position to where I won't get hurt or anything like that. But I will say it is very challenging for me to keep my eyes closed for those 30 steps, because it's I want to see, I want to not make that mistake. I don't want to fall. I don't want to hurt myself. But it's very, very important that you allow yourself to be trusting of yourself, to be able to feel your way out, to make those 30 steps. Because everything is not going to be illuminated. Everything is not going to be visible for you to see it, you know? And that's when we really go down to the root chakra, or we're dealing with all these things that are in the dirt or in the muck, you know? It's about feeling those things, not seeing these things, you know? Seeing is at the top, you know? So, yeah, that made me think of that. And it also made me think of Scorpio, because Scorpio, like, if we are speaking about the ocean or a beach, which is, you know, still the ocean, you know, Cancer will represent the crab who's on the shore. You know, he goes into the waters, but he also does his thing. He parlays on the shore, on the sand. You know, Pisces would be the embodiment of, you know, the ocean itself. And then Scorpio would represent what's at the bottom of the ocean. You know, really just sinking down to the depths of the ocean. And I mean, we can even see it in nature. There's a lot of things that we still don't know about the depths of the ocean, you know, because a lot of times we can't go down there, you know. And a lot of times a lot of people are just so afraid of going down there to the depths. You know, there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of things that that we don't want to see, or that we may have a fear of seeing. And another thing that made me think of Scorpio was tying it to tarot. And the Tower card. We know that when the Tower card shows up in a reading, that is a representation of building on a foundation that is not solid. And again, foundation is about Cancer. You know, we start that foundation within ourselves emotionally to where we can navigate ourselves to be able to work towards what it is that we want to achieve, which is Capricorn. So when the Tower card shows up in the tarot deck, well, when a reading, it's an indication that we need to go back to the basics. We need to go back to the root of something, because before we were building on something that was not sturdy. And when you just want to go to the third eye and, you know, the crown chakra, you know, that's basically what that represents. You know, you are not dealing with what is at the root. And if you don't deal with what's at the root, you will bring that up in those chakras, in the crown chakra and the third eye chakra, to where you will be presented with the Tower moment, where things need to be cracked. You know, a lightning strike comes and it crashes everything down. And that's another thing. You know, when everything comes crashing down, Mama Mayette, she got a shout out in the video. You know, it's not about being afraid of falling, you know, and feeling like you're going to break into pieces, but to know that when you fall, you will fall into place to be able to build a great foundation and a great structure to where you can build upon that. And it all goes back to, like, you know, getting rid of, whether it be doubt, you know, whether it be whatever it is, you know, that's that's causing this foundation to not be solid, you know. So just profound, man. I love when she puts out a video, and when I say this is so relative to me. And, you know, I spoke about my issue today, what I was dealing with as far as the situation with I was in a situation to where I allowed myself to be in a position to where someone got work out of me, let's just say energy out of me, and I wasn't compensated for that energy. I have to take accountability for the fact that this person had showed me who they were, or you know what? They showed me that I should not have put more energy into them. They showed me that, and I went against that. That comes in with the doubt of knowing something. I went against that. And I continued to put energy into something where I could be where I could be placed in a position to where now I am owed money. And it's just like, you have to trust yourself. You have to know who you are. And we can save ourselves so much trouble when we do that. When someone shows you who they are, you have to believe that. And you have to act accordingly. It is your responsibility to detach yourself or to remove yourself from a certain situation if you know that this is not what you need. If you know that this is not going to serve you. You have to know that. And you have to act accordingly. That's your responsibility. I'm step off subject for a minute, but I mean, this does definitely support what it is that I'm saying. I was watching the movie Ma, and one of the main character was so interested in someone who was so not interested in her. And it's just like, she could not really be mad at the fact that this man did not give her the time of day and just played around and toyed around with her. Because she already knew that this boy was not into her at all. And so when someone shows you who they are, and this doesn't make that boy bad. It doesn't. And we like to look at it as if a person is bad for taking advantage of us or putting us in a position to where we feel like we're owed, You can't do that. When people show you that they're not interested, you need to change your focus. Because you'll very much put yourself in a position to where you will be toyed with, to where you can't even say it's mistreated, because you are choosing to keep putting energy into something where you're not getting a return. So, but back to my situation, plenty of red flags were thrown up. And, I felt good about calling her out on some bullshit, but I still made the choice to continue with her. I thought about it today and, taking accountability for the fact that, when I did tell her about herself, that should have been the cutoff. And you know what? I wouldn't even be owed what I'm owed, had I cut it off when I knew I should have. Instead of allowing doubt, the doubt that, something that was contradicting what it is that I knew. So, yeah, it just made me think of that, like, very thought-provoking and just so profound. You really have to get to the root of things, because if you don't, you can expect a tower moment to where things come crashing down and you have to start over. And starting over is not a bad thing. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's a total bad thing, but you can save yourself time, We always hear the saying of, do it right the first time instead of, just rushing and, rushing to do things, and then you have to go back and correct these mistakes. But if you take your time and you do it right, You know, you won't have to worry about having to go back to redo something. You know? Profound, Ryan. And even this conversation is very profound because, seriously, it's very necessary. It's very necessary for you to go to the root and to get and to make sure that everything is in order. That you have some order going on within your root chakra. Because you can't build on a shaky foundation. Well, you can, but you're not going to get far. You're going to have to come back to this foundation because you can only go up so high before things come tumbling down. And like Mama Mayette said, don't be afraid of falling, you know, or at least falling and feeling like you're going to break into pieces. But to know that you will fall into place of building, of setting straight what needs to be set straight in that foundation so that you can build. You know? So yeah, I'm going to go now. I feel like that was just profound, man. Just very profound. So yeah, bye.